I love you, Rebecca. You make music easy. Welcome to podcast episode number 36.
You can do it, and Rebecca will show you how, step by step all along the way. Introducing the Learn Flute Podcast.
Well, hello today. I'm glad you're here learning along with the rest of us. For those of you who may be new to this podcast, my name is Rebecca Fuller, and I'm the owner and expert at LearnFluteOnline.com, which is the companion website to this podcast. Now, the actual video lessons, MP3s, sheet music, etc. are inside the membership areas over there on the website. And I hope you've had time to join us because we have been plowing through a lot of flute skills that are really taking so many of you up to that level where you have always wanted to be. Now, you know, playing the flute is oftentimes one of those bucket list items for many people. Well, why? Well, I think it's just one of those iconic instruments that just can't be ignored. It's so darn pretty, especially if it's being played well. And if you've heard a beginner or even yourself trying a new skill out, well, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees, meaning it's really easy to get kind of bogged down in the beginning stages and not feel like you're really ever going to emerge as that beautiful flute playing butterfly. But that's where I come in. I'm going to help you take a new step each day that will definitely get you there. I promise. So with that, let's get started. Now, if you'll remember back to the beginning of this episode, I started with a quick testimonial that a super nice lady named Ruth sent me. And she says, "I love you, Rebecca. You make music easy." Now, out of all the compliments I could ever get, this has to top as one of my favorites because it's my duty and job to break down what needs to happen into simple, easy to understand steps for good people like you to follow. It's like a map. And I know so many feel like music is one of those things that just eludes them, like it's some way far out there type of skill you have to be born with. I take a completely different approach. Probably and possibly because I've taken dozens of babies, literally 2, 3, and 4 years old, and shown them every little step to take to become an accomplished musician. I've done it in my own home, with my own children, and I've done it with others' children as well. And guess what? It works. But of course, there's a recipe that has to be followed, and definitely the repetition of skills has to be done before new ones can be added. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that you are at least a teen or an adult listening here today. I guess I'm assuming that because that's who I see following the instructions and advice on my site within the lessons. And if you're younger than that, then congratulations, you have a really great parent or adult helping you follow and keep on the path I've set for you. Now I'm going to give you all some really great advice here. When I finish, and as you find it true for yourself, you may think, well, that was common sense, but the reason I'm going to say it is because it's one of those pitfalls that tends to grab, especially adults of every age, and stop them from reaching their potential in every subject. And that is the pitfall of being impatient and jumping ahead to new skills or pieces before you're ready. I think you know what I mean. Finding a melody or a tune that you're just dying to learn and attempting it in a rushed manner without laying any sort of foundation first. Perhaps the key of your piece has 4 sharps in it, and you've never even learned how to play the fingerings to those notes, let alone the scales that are attached to that key. So you plug along one little note at a time, trying to look up the information and force your fingers to those keys. Now, this is just one little example. What I'm really trying to say here is that it won't be long, possibly only 5 to 10 minutes and you could probably give up. Put your flute away and assume you're just a horrible flutist and that you'll never get it. Now, this sounds kind of drastic, but I know you've all been there, and it seems to be a little bit of an innate thing that's in all of us. Now, patience is not always our strongest feature, unfortunately. So, back to the intro of this podcast where Ruth said that I make music easy. Well, what I saw into this was that Ruth is following the plan that I set for her, step by step. Module by module, not jumping around like a chicken with her flute head cut off. Now, music is a definite skill and pretty darn scientific at that, up to a certain point. And even when we start putting all of the musicality into our music, it's a totally teachable skill as little sequences that build upon each other. And I can show you, and I'm excited that you want to learn. Have you ever watched a video or seen live a little kid who steps onto stage with absolutely no fear in their eyes? In fact, the look in their eyes is usually pretty blank, and they just totally knock some incredible concerto out of the park on their instrument? Well, you can do that too. It takes following the plan and trusting that it will happen if you stick with it and be patient. Now, the difference between these super youngins and you is that they have a dedicated parent who sits with them daily, making sure that they stick with the program, the prescription that they've been given to success for the week. I read this quote by Dr. Seuss the other day, and it really hit home for me as something we can all use as we embark on a journey of learning. Quote, "The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go." Now, that's by Dr. Seuss in I Can Read With My Eyes Shut. And it's so true. The more we work on it, the more skills we will add daily, step by step by step. And then the more we know, the more we can do, which in turn helps grow our confidence and shows us the path to add even more proficiency. It's great. I hope you've gained something from listening to this episode today. We can all use a boost once in a while, and it would be really great if you left a comment here letting me and the other learners know how you've found your motivation and been able to stick with the schedule and program to help keep yourself and keep your eye on the success mountain you're climbing. And if it hasn't happened yet with your instrument, is there something else in your life that you've achieved at higher level of success? It could be a sport or an art or something like that. And if you have, I would love to hear how you did it and what your recipe was to keeping on the path. Well, that's it for today. I love you all and your effort. Keep making beautiful music this week. This was episode 36 of the Learn Flute podcast. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening today. Remember that this is where people of all ages, such as you, can come, learn, and play the musical instrument flute in an easy-to-follow, organized manner, and in the privacy and comfort of your own home, on your own schedule.